What if I told you that some of the biggest power shifts in Africa aren't happening in Paris, London, or Washington, but quietly between Burkina Faso and Asia? Hidden deals, silent partnerships, and a global balance changing without headlines. Stay with me, because this story will completely change how you see West Africa.
Burkina Faso's journey through the geopolitical landscape of West Africa has long been shaped by the invisible hand of Western influence. For decades, the country's strategic decisions, from military cooperation to infrastructure projects, seemed guided more by Paris than by Ouagadougou itself. Colonial legacies left imprints on governance, language, trade, and finance, creating a dependency that Burkina Faso, like many of its neighbors, quietly accepted. French development underpinned roads and hospitals. Western firms controlled much of the mineral wealth, and military advisors trained local officers in Western doctrines. On the surface, these partnerships appeared stable, almost permanent, yet beneath that veneer, cracks began to show. Economic stagnation, repeated debt crises, and a sense of underappreciation led local leaders to question the value of these traditional ties. The world was changing, and Burkina Faso needed options beyond the familiar corridors of Europe. The shift toward Asia began quietly, almost imperceptibly. Diplomatic envoys from China, India, Japan, Turkey, and South Korea began visiting Ouagadougou with carefully measured proposals. Chinese teams studied the logistics of building roads across difficult terrain, while Indian trade officials explored avenues for agricultural technology and pharmaceutical exchanges. Japanese engineers evaluated rural water systems, and Turkish investors expressed interest in industrial development and defense collaboration. These gestures, initially small and often ceremonial, carried the weight of possibility. Burkina Faso's leaders recognized that these nations offered something different: speed, scale, and a willingness to engage without the heavy political strings that often accompanied Western aid. Early partnerships promised tangible results, from paved roads to functioning schools, and even subtle improvements in governance and healthcare. China quickly emerged as the most visible partner. Massive infrastructure projects began to materialize across Burkina Faso. Roads linking remote towns to regional hubs, bridges spanning seasonal rivers, and government buildings constructed with Chinese expertise reshaped the physical landscape. These projects were more than a matter of convenience. They were statements of intent. Mining agreements gave Chinese companies access to gold, manganese, and uranium, while promising technology transfer and local employment. Telecommunications networks expanded rapidly, bringing mobile broadband and fiber-optic connectivity to schools, businesses, and government offices. In urban and semi-urban areas, hospitals equipped with modern technology improved healthcare delivery, while new vocational programs trained locals to operate and maintain advanced machinery. Even the military benefited from discreet cooperation, with Chinese advisors providing training and equipment tailored to the unique challenges of the Sahel. The transformation extended beyond infrastructure. Roads and railways connected previously isolated regions, allowing farmers to transport goods more efficiently and traders to reach new markets. Mining modernization created safer and more profitable operations, while telecommunications networks opened digital avenues for commerce, education, and governance. Regional neighbors watched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, noting how Burkina Faso was quietly altering the balance of power in the Sahel. India's engagement complemented China's visible presence. Trade in cotton, gold, and agricultural products grew, supported by Indian expertise in farming and logistics. Indian pharmaceutical collaborations strengthened Burkina Faso's healthcare system, providing reliable access to essential medicines in urban and rural clinics alike. Scholarships for Burkinabe students to study in India brought back skills in engineering, technology, public health, and agriculture, creating a generation capable of sustaining and expanding the country's development initiatives. Unlike the large-scale, high-profile projects of China, India's interventions emphasized sustainability, human capital, and knowledge transfer, quietly building long-term capacity. Other Asian nations followed their own unique paths. Turkey invested in industrial parks, energy projects, and defense training, helping Burkina Faso address both economic development and regional security needs. Japan focused on technical aid, providing rural electrification, water purification, and agricultural mechanization. South Korea contributed expertise in industrial modernization and digital technology, supporting smart factories, ICT initiatives, and entrepreneurship programs. Each nation brought complementary strengths, creating a network of influence that enhanced Burkina Faso's development without undermining its sovereignty or alarming Western partners. Secrecy became a cornerstone of Burkina Faso's strategy. The government understood that announcing the full scale of these Asian partnerships could provoke criticism from historical allies or trigger domestic political backlash. Instead, projects were phased and carefully managed, ensuring that tangible benefits were visible before drawing widespread attention. Roads, schools, hospitals, mines, and technology hubs became proof of progress, allowing Burkina Faso to maintain flexibility and protect its strategic autonomy. Timing, discretion, and careful communication enabled the government to navigate the delicate balance of multipolar diplomacy, maintaining relationships with both historical and emerging partners. The impact on West Africa was immediate and visible. Trade routes shifted as roads and railways facilitated faster movement of goods. Industrial zones powered by Turkish and Korean investments created employment and stimulated regional commerce. Digital networks connected businesses and government offices across the Sahel, enabling e-commerce, telemedicine, and improved governance. Burkina Faso became a model for neighboring nations, demonstrating how multipolar partnerships could deliver tangible results and enhance national autonomy. Yet, the transformation carried risks. Debt obligations from ambitious infrastructure projects, environmental concerns from mining and construction, and social tensions arising from rapid urbanization required careful management. Domestic critics questioned the transparency of deals, and international observers debated the long-term implications of aligning with emerging Asian powers. Balancing the interests of multiple foreign partners while ensuring equitable development for citizens demanded strategic foresight and skilled governance. Looking ahead, Burkina Faso's trajectory suggests a dramatically transformed nation within 5 to 10 years. Roads and railways could seamlessly link mineral-rich interiors to coastal markets. Industrial zones could generate thousands of jobs, while digital networks underpin a modern economy capable of participating in global commerce on its own terms. Mines producing gold, uranium, and other minerals could be fully integrated into international supply chains with greater value retained domestically. Schools and vocational programs could produce a skilled workforce ready to sustain and expand industrial, technological, and agricultural initiatives. West Africa itself may increasingly pivot toward Asia, inspired by Burkina Faso's example, while maintaining a nuanced network of historical and emerging partnerships. Burkina Faso's secret Asia deals are more than transactions. They represent a deliberate, quiet revolution in policy, strategy, and vision. They illustrate how a small nation, through careful diplomacy and multipolar engagement, can reclaim agency, diversify influence, and shape its own destiny. As roads rise from the desert, mines hum with activity, factories buzz with industry, and classrooms fill with students returning from abroad, Burkina Faso is redefining its place in West Africa. The Sahel, long seen as a peripheral region in global geopolitics, may soon emerge at the center of a shifting international landscape, driven by the quiet but transformative power of strategic alliances and forward-thinking leadership.